Hello and welcome to Jeff Walker Books Discussion. Today I'd like to discuss Tron. Now, I'm a big fan of Tron. I've loved Tron since it initially came out in the 80s. I thought it was a neat concept. It had never been done before. This was ambitious for Disney to make a film like this in that time period, and with just the emergence of computers and the graphics that they were making at that time. So it had a unique look. It was like a blend of several things: animation, live action, computer generated like CGI art. It was breaking, kind of like just breaking all the rules. Now, I loved it, and yet the audience didn't like it, and it didn't do well at the theaters. But I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. I think the story was a little childlike, but I think Disney did that originally to keep it within the norms of what their values were, and I think that's pretty much true. So I think that it did well in terms of groundbreaking animation, of use of computers. It should have gotten an Academy Award for breaking all of the of what's the cinema at the time. But I guess a lot of studios at the time didn't think much of it. It wasn't groundbreaking to them. They just couldn't make any heads or tails of it. Now fast forward to the 2000s, where we got a sequel after a long time. The sequel, the planned sequels was Tron Legacy. I think it was 2010 that it came out. And when it came out in 2010, there was, I guess, a resurgence in Tron. The excitement. I know I was more interested to see where they would take Tron. When I saw the costumes, I wasn't sure. I liked the whole scheme of it, but I mean, it was, it's been a long time. But I would have liked to have seen some progression from the old Tron to the new Tron. At least an explanation of how it evolved from that to that. To be honest, I was hoping it would look more like Wreck-It Ralph in a way. And if you've never seen Wreck-It Ralph, they went into the computer and to the internet, and it was just, it was like going to a mega city almost. And I think that's exactly how Tron should have looked, because it was supposed to be a free system that Tron was fighting for. What I would have liked is for Tron to have been in retirement or preserved. Maybe they stored him for future use, or made him the security, the top security chief for all systems. That he is like a free security enabler, that he's there for the users to keep them from harm. That would have been a much more recognizable thing, instead of Clue or Clue 0.20, whatever Jeff Bridges made. I didn't really care for the story of Legacy. I thought it was just it wasn't the same. And when he started talking about the isomorphs, that they were just a free thinking AI inside the thing, I thought, what would have made that a lot more interesting is if the AI was the offspring of of the MCP, that this was his consciousness that had shattered into like the internet and just sprouted his own. And then you would have the return of the MCP again, as he's trying to collectively regroup all of his bits, kind of like separate AI. That's why he's like trying to regather his brain or whatever. I think they could have gone into so many different ways, but I guess because Disney had high expectations and that they were on the cusp of losing the script, they had to give Disney something that was actionable, something that was stylistic. And I can tell you right now that's exactly where they were going with that, because it wasn't intelligent, this script. It wasn't groundbreaking. And to be honest, it was like them meddling again into what Tron could have been. I remember watching the disc of Tron with the commentary and like, the talking to the original creators and where they wanted the next Tron movie to go. And I thought, that would have made more sense to me. The look of them was similar, yet not. It wasn't like the one that we saw in the movie, that's for sure. The one that was in the anniversary disc set showed some artwork that, to me, seemed achievable. And honestly, I think they could have just gone all CGI. Now they can. But, I mean, when Tron, The Legacy came out, again, they were just starting to get into that whole deep fake face kind of thing. They were trying it with Jeff Bridges, and it just looked so bad. It really did. It stiffened his face. It just didn't look natural. I'm going to say that it just didn't work. They had Daft Punk playing the music for it, which was fine. It sounded very dated, unfortunately. I mean, I wish they had brought in somebody that creatively had more grandiose music ideas other than just like techno music. What I think of Legacy is it was a failed project. The Sam character, I don't know. I really wish that Box Lightner was the central figure of this movie, which he was not. His Tron character kind of got pushed aside. The whole movie is called Tron Legacy. I really wish that they had just focused on Tron. Now, if Bruce Boxleitner didn't want to do, or felt like his time was up, or, could have, helped Disney to say, okay, listen, I want another to take the place of me. All they had to do was call it an upgrade. That's it. That's all they had to do. Upgrade the character, boom. He's been replaced. And that's what I thought it would happen. I thought he would be brought back to help save the system. Instead, it was Jeff Bridges. And a lot of them are going on about how Jeff Bridges was more the Tron character. I'm like, no. He did not write Tron. It was Bruce Boxleitner's character that wrote Tron. And, it was part of Tron. And it bugged me that he was pushed aside as a side character. I said, no, not again. He was in the first movie, he was pivotal. And the title says it alone, Tron. And I didn't like that they made Tron a commodity in the movie itself. That they said, oh, Jeff Bridges, when he came back, he started making all the, made toys and stuff like that. I thought, whoa, I don't see that happening at all. I really don't. I don't think that would have taken place at all. I think Jeff Bridges would have made games, sure, Maybe he would have based on some of the stuff he saw while he was in there. But most of what we saw in there is what he created. So it's interesting. So the Tron Legacy, yeah, I'm not sold on it. I heard that they want to make a new one. In fact, they are making a new one, another sequel, but with Jared Leto heading the project and being in the film, which I can only assume is that he's going to either be Tron or the next Tron, and that's fine with me. When the way that they ended the film, spoilers, if anybody's not seen the movie of the Tron Legacy, Tron fell to his demise, I'm guessing, into virtual water and drowned to the very bottom. I don't understand. Like, it's the internet. How can he? I guess he was just gone. I don't know. He suddenly remembered who he was and helped save Sam or Flynn, and then he just, he got blown up, and then he was in the water, and then he just went all the way down. And I just sat there and was like, oh, this is horrid. What you've done is it's Disney again killing the IPs. I don't understand this whole dynamic of getting rid of characters that fans love. I don't get that. I don't understand it. This is a moneymaker, and you would not do this. Now, when Tron started coming out, Disney was ramping up the Avengers movies. So they had to focus away from the Tron franchise and then realized they had the Marvel franchise. So that's why I think Legacy didn't do as well as it should have. Because I think Disney just realized that they were cutting their losses again and putting in all efforts into a franchise that they can understand, or sort of. I don't know. It's such a vast difference from one film to the other. My kids couldn't understand why it was different. I showed them the original, and then I showed them the new one, which they liked more. And I said, well, they're of the generation of video game and fast-paced motion, so obviously. I said, well, the first Tron was the groundbreaker. I was trying to explain it to them that this is, like, nobody had seen this before. Nobody. Yeah, this was brand new, and this was radical. And it's hard to explain it to children that have lived in a time where the graphics and all that are just common day every place. And that's the kind of thing, right? Like, where do you go to mind blow somebody anymore when it's all been done? I don't want to say Avatar was mind blowing. It was grandiose and beautiful, but at the same time, it wasn't like I was used to it. I didn't think much of it because we've gotten through all this. Toy Story was groundbreaking and revolutionary. And by that time of Avatar, nobody batted an eye to it, really. I mean, other than that it was a strikingly beautiful-looking movie, I didn't find that it was all that revolutionary. It was just another movie. And that's the thing. We've all become desensitized to that whole thing. Now that the AI has started ramping up this controversy again, I think it's going to change things a little bit. Maybe, I think. I don't know what's going to happen in the next Tron movie, if and when it comes out. I hope they realize the mistakes of the previous film and kind of correct that and try to explain how you went from that look in the 80s to the 2000 parts. I would love to see that. I would love to see a transition or an evolutionary fast track, kind of like showing how they progressed in their forms and uniforms in a time lapse almost, just so that we can see how it evolved. And I hope that they give it more of a worldly feel. All the black, all the empty space, all the neon light. That's cool and everything, but at the same time, you see what's on the computers these days and what the movies can do. I'll take it one step further. If anybody remembers Reboot, the TV series, that was a computer-generated show, and they had a hell of a lot more going on in there than the Tron movie. In fact, I would say that Reboot was like the Tron sequel, to be honest with you. And the guys that worked on Reboot also had worked on Tron. They were a Canadian company that also helped to create some of the digital effects in Tron. So I can see where that came from for when they made that TV show. And it was an awesome show. It did so much. And I kind of wish that was in Tron. Like, it would have spruced up the movie, but I understand the budget. Like, it would have cost a lot of money to create that sort of imagery. And they had to save some of the money for the actors, the designs, and stuff like that. But really, I'd like to see where they could take it in this new one. Technology has evolved since that. Oh my gosh. Like, we're talking like almost, 15 years now? Has it been 15 years? No, it can't have been 15 years. Maybe 10 years? No, 15 years. Look at that. Well, almost 15 years. I think they could do it. I think they could really maximize the potential. So I'd like to see what they could do. As an author, I get it. Like, I want story, and that's the problem with Hollywood these days. There's no story anymore. Why? Why are they so afraid of having intellectual pursuits in movies anymore? It's like they want to dumb it down, keep the audience dumb, and that they have to single out everything as if we have the mentality of a toad. I don't understand. So, I don't know. We'll see. I suppose we'll see. Jared Leto, I said, is going to be in the Tron movie. He's helping produce the Tron movie. Hopefully, it does well. I don't have high hopes because it's Disney. And the fact that Disney took so long to approve another sequel for this. In fact, they almost didn't. But Disney's track record has been really, really bad of late. I mean, what they've done to some of these franchises is horrible. Horrible. They've killed a lot of original they killed Star Wars. How do you go about killing Star Wars? And they did. They made terrible choices for this franchise. Terrible. TV series that went nowhere. Mandalorian was great, and then they started meddling in it. You can all thank Kathleen Kennedy for that one. For all of it, really. And then the Marvel franchise is going downhill because they don't get the audience. They just don't understand. So until they do, I'm not going to have much faith. So I'm going to just leave it at that. I loved the original Tron. It will always be the Tron movie for me. Tron Legacy, it was okay. My wife really likes the Tron Legacy more than the original Tron. But then I was a fan of the first Tron from the beginning. So I'm more interested in that. I would have loved to have seen the style of that kind of meld into the new one, or at least explain how it transferred over. And that would have done it for me. But, I'm not the one making these movies. I'd love to write a fan fiction for it, but I'm trying to slowly wean away from fan fiction. I am writing another fan fiction, Star Trek Planet of the Titans. I wanted to make that, and I'm trying to finish it. I know I should be finishing my other books, and that's my mind. It gets sidetracked. I'm on to other things. So eventually I will get back. I'm a little back and forth all over the place, so don't expect that fan fiction to be done anytime soon. It's just a mental break for me sometimes to do other stuff that I'm interested in, and then I get back to the regular work. That's just how my brain works. But I will finish my original books, so take heed, everybody. Like it's I'm not forgetting my other work. My other book of Professor Dark and Miss Shadow, The Burning Fire Rises, is due out on March 30th, and it's coming soon. So I hope you go and check that one out. I do still have some arcs available for anybody that's interested. Just email me. And yeah, and that's what I'm talking about today. It was about Tron on the road. Here I am talking about Tron. I'd love to see more explanation into the Tron universe, and I hope they do in the next film. We'll leave it at that for now. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Jeff Walker, Books on the Road, and until next time, thank you.